Seriously?
Hey guys, and welcome to this Ork Tactics video with myself, 6+ Stevo. In the last one, we looked at this guy's little brother, the Mech. In this one, we're looking at this fella, the Big Mech with Kustom Force Field. His stat line is as follows. Movement, 6 inches. Toughness, 5. 4+ save. 4 wounds. Leadership, 7+. And an objective control of 1. Right out of the gate, I really like the 4+ save. Represents the KFF on him and that. Very, very cool. I think that's decent. And the rest of the stat line is kind of what you'd expect. He's basically a sort of a knob with more wounds, which is, you know, generally what you get with the Big Mech. Let's have a look at what he is armed with. He is armed with the Kustom Force Field, obviously, and a slugger and chopper. He is a leader, so he can lead the following units: boys, burner boys, tank busters, looters, and knobs. And the model can be equipped with 1 Grot helper. He has the keywords infantry, character, grenades, Big Mech with Kustom Force Field. So let's take a look at this guy. He's quite pricey. 80 points. It's not cheap. It doesn't sound overly expensive, but in comparison to a lot of the other characters, war bosses and things included, he does feel a bit on the pricey side. But let's have a look if he's worth it. Now, he comes with the regular slugger and chopper. We know what the slugger does. It's much of nothing. And he comes with the chopper, which is a decent weapon. 4 attacks. Weapon skill 3+, strength 5, AP -1, damage 1. So he is no slouch in combat. He's gonna do all right in combat. He'll you know, he's not gonna set the world on fire. He's not gonna be able to compete with the, you know, proper sort of hardline characters. But he's gonna be able to throw his weight in with whatever squad he's with, and he's gonna be able to, you know, he's gonna be able to crump some heads. That's for sure. He has the abilities more DACA. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, re-roll a hit roll of 1. This is nice. Orcs have terrible ballistic skill. They have some decent weapons in amongst the army, but they usually can't hit with them. So anything that can help with that is always welcome. So if you've got shooter units, like for example looters or tank busters or shooter boys or knobs armed with the custom shooters, or combi shooters, should I say, then yeah, he's gonna just increase their viability a little bit. But a re-roll of a 1 on an orc unit, it's still not gonna be great because they're still hitting on 5s. So even when you re-roll those 1s, 1 in 3 of those re-rolls is gonna get you some more hits. So it's just gonna help you get 1 or 2 more hits per squad, you know, that he's in. So yeah, that on its own, it's nice to have, not a reason to take him. The next one though, Kustom Force Field, this definitely is a reason to take him. While this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have a 5+ invulnerable save against ranged attacks. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, this model can overcharge its Kustom Force Field. If it does, until the end of the phase, this invulnerable save is improved to a 4+. I think this is the most perfect GW have ever got these rules. Because the KFF, in more recent editions, some of the older, more recent editions, it was 6+, which wasn't great and really not worth bothering with, and it could overcharge to get a 5+. I think when you used a strat, then possibly, and then I think it burnt out and you couldn't use it again. And also at some point they did buff it in one sense, but they made the Kustom Force Field give the save against all kinds of attacks. There were a few orc players on YouTube and things that were saying that was awesome and brilliant, but for fluff reasons it was shit because it didn't make any sense. Think of that scene on sort of Star Wars Episode 1 where the Gungans put out them sort of shield things over themselves, and the droids have to sort of enter the shield bubble to be able to fight them, because nothing will get through. That's what you envision in your mind when you see a Kustom Force Field. It puts a big bubble shield force field around the unit. you know, helping keep it alive. So it didn't make any sense that it worked for everything, melee as well. So I really like the fact that it is sticking with a fluffy rule that it is just against ranged attacks. And the ability once per game, without any risk, to be able to overcharge this thing and get you a 4+ save, absolutely beautiful that is. And it's once per battle at the start of any phase. So you can use this during your opponent's turn, any point. Really good in a game if you've got, say, your opponent gets first turn and they've got a really shooty army and they're going to target this guy's unit. Being able to overcharge that and give them an invulnerable save of 4+, it's going to make them a lot more survivable for that first turn. So yeah, that's a really, really nice ability to have. War gear abilities, the Grot Helper. You definitely should take a Grot Helper because it's free and you should just, there's no downsides to taking one at all, so definitely take one. But that does once per battle, the bearer can overcharge its Kustom Force Field 1 additional time. There you go. So twice per game, you can get a 4+ invuln save. That's just so useful. And it's free. It says, designer's note, place a Grot Helper token next to the bearer, removing it once this ability has been used. So, yeah, there we go. What do we think about the Big Mech? Well, I tend to use the Big Mech quite a lot. It's a bit of a shame that they can't do anything to vehicles anymore. And I don't like the fact that the KFF doesn't work on the vehicle he's riding in. I think that's the one way it could be improved for sure. I think if him and his unit are inside a truck, it should give the truck a invuln save. I used to like that ability that it had, and it does make sense when you think about it. He's still going to be casting that bubble out, whoever he's in a vehicle or not. So I don't see any reason why it can't. It's just because of the way the sort of blanket rule of unit abilities don't work in vehicles, which is a shame. It is a real shame. But yeah, the KFF, it's such a classic piece of war gear for the Orks. It's so good. And he very much works in shooty lists, that's for sure. So sticking him with tank busters is really nice, because that's going to help them, re-rolling 1s on them. I like sticking him with my boys, actually, my shooter boys. Getting that re-roll of 1, just making them a little bit more beneficial. The burner boys, I mean, it doesn't matter because they're auto hitting. And I don't have the looters card to hand, but I'm fairly certain that looters, don't they re-roll 1s anyway or something? Possibly, maybe. I can't even remember now. So I think he might be a little bit surplus in that regard. But his main job, I guess, is to protect the unit. So in that respect, sticking him with a mob of looters in a building somewhere, you know, benefit from the cover save, benefit from his KFF protecting them, that's going to be really useful. And then putting him with, in a large mob of boys, maybe with a war boss attached, can add a bit more survivability to help keep the boss and his boys alive. So yeah, I think the mech is very good. I do think it's a bit strange that he can no longer fix the vehicles that he himself probably built. I think that's an odd decision. It would be nice if he had some kind of vehicle buffing abilities, but I guess that is the job of the little mech. But there you go, guys. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the Big Mech and his abilities. Do you use him? Do you think he's worth the points? So that is the Big Mech. We need to have a look at another Big Mech next, I think. Let's take a look at this guy, the Big Mech with shock attack gun. See you on that one, guys. This is 6+ Stevo, signing out.